Good morning. Here we go. Starting off today, an hour before open, we have unemployment, non farm payrolls, and hourly earnings with the participation rate. So the market's waiting on that to make its move. You can see the NASDAQ is just neutral. Everything's pretty much neutral here. If you look at this current trend that we're in, if you just look at the bottom of it right here, following up, and then if you look at this top one right here, coming down, this is a big triangle. And so that just means that there's a lot of compression building up. And so when there's a lot of compression, like a spring, it's going to spring out. It's going to break out or it's going to break down, but it's going to make a big move one way or the other. Whether it does that today, we'll see. It's waiting on news because it's so neutral right now. If you look at the 5-minute, yeah, you're just completely neutral. And I assume you'll probably bounce around for the next 2 hours or so. You'll probably stay in the 605 to 607 range on the QQQ. So on the NASDAQ here, you'll probably bounce between this trend line and up here at, let's just call it 25,000. Yeah, right about where you're at now. Should bounce around in here. You could come up. I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility. Come up and then back down, but I don't think you'll get very far away from here. You'll come back down to here, I believe, by an hour before open. All right, let's take a look at VIX. VIX is, that's the 5-minute. I was going to say VIX is turning down. That's not right. There we go. The hourly looks to be turning up. I mean, it can always turn down like it's doing now. See how it's playing that up down game. But this is a bullish structure the way this is building. And if we go out to the daily, you still look like you want to break out. I mean, the market still has a VIX problem. That's why yesterday I started hedging all of my positions. And when I hedge, I sell calls at the money. And then I'll buy some puts with those calls, or with those sold calls. I'll buy cheap puts just because I'm looking to hedge for a big drop if it comes. If it's not a big drop, oh well, because I keep quite a bit of cash from the sold calls waiting for it, waiting for price to drop so I can pick up more. If you were really bearish, you could buy closer to at the money puts. But I'm not super bearish on my stocks. I just think they might drop, and I'd just like protection against a complete crash out if that happens. Not that I think puts would work if that happened, but yeah, something's better than nothing. Yeah, look how this is building. this is a this is just, see how it's breaking these levels back here? I mean, it's breaking past resistance. If it gets past 24, if it gets into 2405, there's problems. And yesterday I said if it gets over 2330, then there's problems. And that was the 2330 was the mark over here. And we broke that yesterday. So now if we get over 2490, then the market has bigger problems. And again, I expect this to spike to 29 or 30. And I expect it to do it relatively soon. But people keep buying puts on the markets. So it's going to be real tough for them to drop until they have enough liquidity to make it happen. Okay, let's go down to oil. Oil looking savvy. 3, 4. Yep. It completely ignored the 4 days outside the Bollinger and it's going for 5. I like it. That's super bullish. I'm sorry, world, but that sucks. It's good for me, though. Yeah, we broke this trend line, so it's. I warned that this was a possibility because this is a big trend line, and my targets are stupid. I mean, they're stupid high. Way up here, 170, 180, up to 250. I'm not saying tomorrow. This is a weekly chart, so that could be in a year, in 2 years. I don't know, but look at the way that's going. Yeah, I would not want to fight against that. That is also very volatile. Look at that. I said this was when I did my update yesterday. I said this was, oil was either going to break down here, fail and break down and come back and test the upper 60s and lower 70s, or it was going to break out. Well, it chose breakout. So now it's on. And with that, let's look at some oil stocks. Let's see what they're doing this morning. Mexican oil up 13%. Isn't that fantastic? EONR. This looks good. Not necessarily my favorite looking chart, but okay. I mean, we've held this 26 cents low. All right. Seem to be getting better, so there's a chance this could be a turnaround story. And that looks like 5 waves up. Long drawdown, and we're off again. This looks pretty good. This also looks like a cup and handle, an extended one. So going to the weekly, wow, can you get up there? Can you get to 470 off of 60 cents? That's pretty far, but I mean, you're going to work on it. 69 cents is the line to break, and then I think you'll cruise up and probably squeeze on this for a good gain. Should that happen, I think you'd approach this 190. Probably up in here, probably the 140. But not my style, not my type of stock. But yeah, it definitely has a possibility to pop. My support would be down here at, I don't know, call it 50 cents. Wow. There's Indo going again. Does my heart good to see that. Not good for the rest of the world because that means there's pressure on oil because China and India now, or probably Japan, are all trying to buy from Indonesia because they can't get it from Iran. You still haven't broken this high from yesterday, so you're just pushing up against it. My guess is my guess is you're gonna want to either squeeze. Well, obviously, two things are gonna happen. You're gonna completely crash and fail here, but I don't think so. I think this looks like three waves. You've got bullish divergence on the hourly. So I think you actually squeeze up here, and I think you approach these 750 again. It's hard to imagine this not going with oil shooting up to $85. EC, again, this is where I want to be. Not under the sea. I want to be with EC for the future. Yep, that's going to be a big boy. That's going to be a big boy. Playing with the big kids. Look at that downtrend, breakout, breaking out of this long resistance here that you held up since COVID. As soon as you break out of that, boom, we're up into the upper teens, low 20s. I like it. There's so much I like here. So much. What's not to like? Other than they suck the black blood of the earth, but you take what you can get. PBR. Looking fantastic. Look at this downtrend. Boom. And that's a weekly. This thing is golden. This is what I like on any pullbacks. If this were to drop, I would consider that a gift. I'm waiting for this to drop. I'm sitting with cash, just waiting. Cosmo. Oh, my drawing on here. I was probably pointing something out to the group. Yep, this is a triangle, and it's probably going to break out, and there's my target. And look, it so wanted to yesterday, and then it just did not. But here we go for round 2, question mark. Oxy, this one looks good. I'm not an Oxy fan, but maybe they've turned it around by selling off their chemical division. So that looks good. Halliburton, Now that does not look good. Not, I mean, good for me. I like red. I like oil when it's red because I can buy. But when it's going up, it's nice too. This is definitely going to decline. So I guess they're not going to rebuild everything like they dreamed of. In reality, it just hit resistance, so it's coming back down. I will wait at 340, 345 for OIH, and that means SLB should come down to my trend line at the mid 40s. I will definitely be looking at it there. Definitely take a long look at SLB in the mid 40s. All right. Let's see how our nuclear reactors are doing today. And the reason why I like these stocks in particular is because of this formation right here. This big formation is a Livermore cylinder. Well, I believe it to be a Livermore cylinder. So I'm waiting for Nano is the one that's a little different. That I think is the leading diagonal. But Lightbridge, I believe that to be a Livermore cylinder. Oklo, I believe to be a Livermore cylinder. Centrus, I also believe to be a Livermore cylinder. So I think all these have the potential to break out massively. And those were all weekly charts. So if you go down to the daily, they all look pretty similar. I mean, they're just in these tight ranges. You've got bullish divergence, but I would kind of expect this to just crack and then go. I don't know why. I don't know why I think that, but I mean, this is a perfect landing zone. You're in the 61.8 drawdown for fib. You're right in between this. But they could draw it down to this 786, which is what I would expect to see. Just one more quick drop, maybe a day or two, maybe three, and then start ripping up. So that is kind of what I would expect out of a lot of these. See, that's starting to turn down on the daily. That is also turning down on the daily. So yeah, everything's just kind of dangerous right now, other than oil. Miners are even dangerous because the dollar's going up with oil. Ooh, Gap got. Yeah, I'm still holding my support. That's a daily, so that's not going to show. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. We broke under it now. We were above it. Now we're under it. So we'll probably come down to 2380 is where support would be. That's a huge drop. What is going on with Gap? they raise the price target and it sells. A whole lot of news about it. Oh, cautious sales outlook. Oh, it had earnings. How come I'm not getting an earnings alert? Double miss on earnings. Well, that makes sense then. No breakout for you. All right. Good thing I hedged my positions yesterday. Man, that makes me feel good. Okay. Man, I picked the right day. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I sold out of Abercrombie on in the mid 90s also. So I don't think I'm going to pick this up again. Just personal reasons. So it can free fall now if it chooses. It can close that gap down here to 70 or so. Under Armour, looking at about $6 for that. Yeah, retail all getting hit. Except for Puma. Puma's the only one that looks good. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're supplying the military outfits. I have no idea. Okay. Let's look at some new technology, as I call it. It's kind of a catch-all for anything, actually. AAOI. This looks like it's rolling over. Again, I sold in the 100, so waiting to pick this up again in the around 70. So that looks like it's rolling over. I mean, it just ran far too fast. So now it's really tired. That's all it is. All right, qubits. Again, I don't like how this bottomed. It did not have divergence on the drop. It's just in the right zone. But I don't like it. I don't like how it bottomed at all. I feel like a Dr. Seuss character, but I just don't like it. All right, I got a request for 2. Let's look at AREC. That looks pretty decent. What do we have on the daily? That looks really good. Weekly, that looks good. Monthly, that looks good. This is a whole lot of good. This is American Resources. Yeah. I like it. I like how when I say it's good and why I like it just by quick glancing at it, because glancing, I can see that this is turning up. You're getting wicks at the bottom. You're pushing these moving averages up. The Bollingers are pushing up. Your RSI down here, I'll make this bigger. Your RSI is turning up. So that's why I said it's just a quick glance at that. I could say that's turning up and it looks good because it's doing everything I mean, it's the right shape. Yeah, that looks all right. My target, come on. If you can break this, if you can break this 330 just above where you're at, say 332, then you should shoot up and retest 405. And then you're just building this back up to retest here. Yeah, this just looks like a continuation of a bullish wave. Now, if you go below 308, then it's a different story. But until then, that looks pretty good. Albemarle. That's rolling over, clearly. Below the 50, your 5 moving average, this line right here is turning down. You're below your mid Bollinger. So I would expect you to come down and touch this lower Bollinger at 154 before choosing a bounce or a collapse down, say 115 or so. How does the weekly look? Yeah, you're turning over on the weekly. I mean, you're going to go to I shouldn't say that. You should drop down to about 150 and then probably further down. Yeah, into the 115 range. On the hourly, you might be turning up. I mean, you might get a bounce here. 166. Maybe you go as high as 175 before rolling back over. But yeah, this is definitely rolling over to me. All right, let's go to the Qs. No, let's look at a few miners because they're getting silver's going up, but the miners are going down. Newmont dropping, but you are getting a bullish divergence. So let's see how that opens. Rio, dumpster fire. That's not a dumpster fire. It's just selling down. Which makes me want to look at Cliff. Because in my hedging yesterday, I oversold on Cliff. So I have an inadvertent short position today. We'll see what I do with that. That can sometimes happen when I'm moving positions. That looks like it's going to roll down. I look like I may be in luck here. You're below the 5. You're below the mid Bollinger. Your Bollingers are pinching. See how they pinch like that? Like crab claws. And when you're below the mid Bollinger, I tend to believe you you shoot down out of it. When you're above the mid Bollinger, I tend to believe you go up. But that's just my personal observations. But yeah, I don't like that. That does not look good for Cliff. What does that look like on the weekly? That looks like blah. That actually looks like it needs to drop again to 930. I think I called 990 on with the group. I said watch for 990, I think. All right, let's go back to the cues. Let's close with that. Let's hide that stuff for a little bit so we can just, we're on the weekly here. So just stepping back, taking a look from higher up. We're above the 5 MA on the weekly. We're below the mid Bollinger. Your Bollinger, lower Bollinger is flat. Your upper Bollinger is rolling over. That is not bullish, but that might be, I mean, it's leveling off. It's not directional like this is down. It's definitely not showing that on the weekly. Now on the daily, we are showing a whole lot of chop. But now you're starting to get bullish divergence. See how this price is going down and RSI is going up. So it's showing that there's resilience and strength here, which look at all these buying candles. They're small, but they're there. Again, I'm not a fan of this. This is not where I'd want to be. I believe there's a drop coming in this. I think there's one more rally, but we're never guaranteed one more rally. So I think there's another drop. How far we get, I don't know. And then we could go up higher first even. I think we could go to 618 before we drop. I think the market's just throwing people around right now. Which is why you either have to be on your toes day trading it or just get into stocks that you can hang on to, which at the moment seems to just be oil mainly. And here's the crazy lines. You can see this white one here where we're in this downtrend, and we have been for a while. So now let's see if we can get something similar this way. Something like that. And again, you have a triangle formed here, which is just a lot of compression in this zone. You've broken below, but you're above this support line, which has been a long time support line. But you're still in this compression zone. So that's fine. Again, I don't expect the market to make a move until in the hour before open. But there's the hourly. Let's look at the 5-minute. Your levels again for today are 618.50 for the upper move. I mean, that's a big move. That's coming all the way up to the top of this trend line today. That'd be a huge move, and you'd probably do just that. Bounce, or maybe just rip up, bounce, whatever. If you were to go bullish like that, if we were to like the news and shoot up like a rocket, that's where we're looking. The possibility of 618.50. But on a Friday, I don't know about that. Your lower limit is 603. So you're bouncing around 604 right now, which is 605 is essentially the 5MA. The 5-day moving average is right at 605. So you're just flirting below that. Not far enough away to make any kind of conclusion about. But yeah. So your lower limit today is just right below that. Right into this cluster, right into the heart of where this cluster was yesterday. So, yeah, you could sell down at open and catch that and rip up. If you break that and you exceed the lower limit today, I think you could have a bigger drop. But so far, that's, see how it's holding here? The market just does not want to drop yet. It's just not going to do it yet. All right. And with that, I will end it. Be safe, be wise, be bold, and as always, good luck.